Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live edition of Bill Roden on Sports. I'm here at MetLife Stadium, where Jamal and I, my co-hosts, have just seen the Jets fall to 0-7, and there was a quarterback change. Justin Fields, who Jamal defends like no other,
And Bill thinks it's all his fault. 0-7.
was benched, and Jamal and I got into a feverish debate with Jamal, just like defending him, saying it wasn't him, it was the coaching, it was the offensive line, and I'm like thinking, was it the offensive line in Chicago? Was it the offensive line in Pittsburgh?
He
Was
was
it the
fine in Pitt. He was 4-2 in Pittsburgh.
yeah. So now you're blaming Mike Tomlin for going to Russell Wilson, which maybe was a mistake, but you know. But anyway, I know you were used to be a Jets fan. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was and I guess I'm also pissed because I came into this writing a column about Bryce Young of Carolina and Justin Fields, and my premise, which was looking good until Young got hurt, in that Young is on the upswing, and of course Fields is fighting for his career, and it ends up that neither one of them finished the game. Bryce Young got injured and couldn't finish, but Justin Fields got benched and didn't finish. So, yeah, but I know you and my brother Gerard in Germany are like Justin Fields defenders, and you're always wondering why people are so hard on him. But even you said, even in the game in London was pathetic. I mean, it was pathetic.
Yeah, no, I I defend him. Like if because I'm looking at this team and they have and it's just a terrible team all the way around. So I think even a top it would take like a top five in the league quarterback to put lipstick on this pig and make it look okay. Um, But don't get me wrong, it's not like Justin Fields is playing well enough to even affect positive. Like obviously he's not doing enough to even do anything on offense. So he has to take blame for that. But I think let's be honest here. This Jets team is really, and especially offensively, is inept. Like in every aspect. Like we knew coming in, they didn't have receivers. They had one receiver. Now that receiver's hurt. I don't like I said. I think even like who would do anything in this current state of their offense? I don't know. I mean, they brought in Tyrod Taylor. Didn't look any better. I mean, maybe
It looked a
you think
little
he look better, but he threw two interceptions, so I don't know how much better that
well,
is.
because he's trying to save the game.
So
He's trying to
so so
he's trying
it
to
feels
save
would
the
have
game.
it feels would have thrown those two interceptions. You would have been like, that's cool.
Well, if he was
That,
trying to
that's
save the
that's
game,
why that's why I said it's. I think it's actually a positive that he was that he was pulled in this game because if it's Fields that stays in the game and throws and starts trying to take chances and throw those picks, he's getting booed off the field. There's no question
well,
about
they
that.
couldn't they couldn't have left him in. They would have been called for Jackson Dart. You know, they
Who's
would.
doing well today, by the way, Bill? He
Uh,
has he has two touchdown passes already.
Unbelievable. I know. That's another story. We have to live with that, man.
Yeah,
Jackson Dart.
I
You
just picked I just picked him up for my fantasy team, by the way.
know.
I'm
Oh,
gonna I'm gonna drop Fields and start Dart.
oh, after all that, why don't you keep your boy? You're not gonna keep Field?
I'll keep him just in case, but he's not starting next week. No.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, in the head-to-head battle, I mean, uh, uh, and here's the thing: if you look at Bryce Young, he looked like a real NFL quarterback, and maybe you're saying it looked like a real NFL system. Where
Correct.
they marched down the field. The first series he was rolling out. It just looked very definitive. He was rolling out, making plays, knew where to go with the ball. It was very crisp and clear. Uh,
And even he
Fields is not always seem crystal clear. He doesn't seem crisp.
no, he doesn't seem crystal clear at all. Like to be honest, and yeah, I put at least 50% of that on the Jets. That's what I'm saying. I put it on the coaching staff and the offense. At least 50%. That means Fields has to take the other 50%. Like he can't. He's not blameless, but yeah, uh, Bryce Young, he looked solid, but you look at his stats. You know, they just have a better system around him. I guess he was 15 for 25, 138 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. That's solid. And
what did Fields end up with?
Fields was 6 for 12, 46 yards,
That's
and zero TD, zero interceptions.
that's below pedestrian. I mean, they only let him throw 12
Well,
times.
that's what you're saying. So, but
Half
but
of
but key word is let him, right? So it's like they let him throw 12 times. So if you don't have faith in him, get him off the team. Like what are we doing? So you shouldn't start. And so they put Tyrod Taylor in. What were his
they let
stats?
it, and they let him.
Tyrod Taylor was 10 for 22, 126 yards, two interceptions.
But his mission was different. They sent him in there to try to win the game
So why don't they make that Fields mission from the start? Because
because
we had
maybe they don't trust him.
well, they must not. But Fields' statistics have been okay in a few games, but the only have been good in a few games, and those few games were garbage time, right?
Well, what were those statistics in London? How ugly was that? Read those statistics.
Right, but read the statistics from the Pittsburgh game, or read the statistics from the game where they against Dallas, where in garbage time he at least did something. Like so, it's the same thing with Tyrod. Was that already garbage time when Tyrod was there?
Today,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't
So,
garbage
but
time.
then he threw two picks. He threw two picks.
Because he had to go for broke.
So, but any they don't. So, but Fields, they won't let Fields go for broke. So why play him?
Because he's broke.
So, but you're putting faith in the coaching staff. I can't do that.
Well, not exactly. That I think the Jets. I mean, I do agree with you. That do not look like on offense or in defense. They do not look like they know what they're doing. It does not look like a
They've
coach.
improved defensively the last couple of weeks. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
But and maybe it's the offensive coordinator, the young offensive coordinator who was an assistant to Ben Johnson in Detroit. He was like the passing coordinator for Ben Johnson in Detroit, so an assistant to the assistant. And now this is his first time calling plays on the NFL level. I mean, is he in over his head? Is he trying to fit Fields into his system?
Well, the
I don't know.
question is, are they going to give? I think that Aaron Glenn must be thinking that the treatment that Dan Campbell was afforded in Detroit will be afforded to Aaron in New York, where he was able to go one and what was it like
1-16.
16, and then there was a turnaround. Will
So,
Aaron Glenn be allowed to go 0-17 and come back?
what do you think?
Forget
that. I have a question for you, Bill. I have a different question. Will he be allowed to go 0-7?
Oh, you think they may pull the plug before that?
I think
I'd be a little surprised if they fired him like mid-season.
I'd be a little surprised, but far from shocked. Because we already know first of all he doesn't have the complexion for protection that Dan Campbell had. So we already know that.
Oh, there you go. Talking about Jesus, guys.
We already know he's not going to get that same grace. We know that. At least I'm pretty confident. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would be a little stunned. Although the last coach of color, Robert Saleh, although he got a year and a half.
He got more than a year. Really, I guess the comp is the guy from New England, Mayo from New England.
Oh my God! Yeah.
They gave him a full year. But mind you, he didn't go 0 in anything. He probably won 3 or 4 games. Remember,
they knew they wanted Grable.
They wanted Vrabel, and then remember when he was there, they didn't spend any money on free agents. Remember he made his comment like we're going to open the bank, and he got in trouble for that. He got in trouble for saying that, and they didn't spend anything. Then Vrabel came and they did.
They opened the bank.
So I think that's the comp. So maybe he gets a full year, but no. He's going to have to win. He's going to have to win a couple games towards the end of the season. Like there's no.
Yeah, and are they going to? I mean, they need players.
And we were talking. You mentioned
maybe they need a quarterback. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
maybe they're going to get Arch Manning.
Yeah, if they have a high draft pick, I'm sure they're taking a quarterback. Like, Justin Fields hasn't done enough to show he's the man for sure. That's for sure.
Well, what's he going to do in the next 10 games You know
Probably
that.
nothing because there's nothing you can do record wise to even to justify it to fans. Like even if he played well,
If
but
they go
their,
ten,
their record would still be 4-13 or something.
well, what happens if they win their next? Oh, that's right. Well, they're seven. Oh, they're
They're,
0-7.
they're 0
They,
seven.
they have
They're
10 more games,
they're
right?
not going to run the table.
What happens if they run the table? What happens if they go 10-0? Does that secure his job
Yes, I think so. I'll give you that. If they go 10-0, they go 10. If they go 10-0, and Fields lights it up.
under Tyrod Taylor?
Well, we saw what happens with that. I think because you were saying, is Justin Fields fighting for his career? I think the question is more the better question is whether Aaron Glenn is fighting for his career, because Justin Fields he's going to get another chance. That's just the way it goes. Like, but will Aaron Glenn get another chance if this doesn't work
Well,
out?
you're right. It's less likely that Aaron Glenn, as a black head coach, will get a second chance anytime soon.
Right,
It's going to take a long time for him to get a second chance.
right.
You're right. Fields is only Fields like
26 or
30.
something.
No. He's no. I think he was
Justin Fields.
born in 2000. No, in 1999. I think he's 3 years.
So
Uh,
26.
yeah, what's the name is 24. Bryce Young is 24.
Hmm.
I think that Justin Fields is 27. Like his birthday's in March.
Okay.
So anyway, but he's not
Well,
30.
yeah, he's 20. Yeah, he'll turn 27 in March.
Okay, and Justin Fields turned 27 in July. So yeah, I mean by then he'll be 27,
Mhm.
and if it doesn't work out here, he'll probably be given one more chance.
Or even a backup chance, and that's still a chance.
Back up. Yeah, I have no. Yeah, backup is easy. He'll be a backup, and then maybe he could come in
Right.
and
Like if
convince people like you and Gerard that
but
he
but I
should
mean,
be.
what is Darnold done? What is Baker Mayfield? They were cast aside too, and
Right.
they were white.
Baker was what, Cleveland, Carolina,
Yeah.
uh, uh,
At least one of those.
L.A.,
Yeah.
L.A.,
Hmm.
and then Tampa. Darnold was awful at the Jets. He was awful at Carolina, and then he found religion in Minnesota. But then even they let him walk. They're
Right.
probably sorry that they did.
And he's playing well in Seattle right
And
now.
they played very well in Seattle. So it's quite possible that a guy like Fields, it didn't work out in Cleveland. I mean, here in yeah, maybe he will go to Cleveland. That would be true. But your theory is that he's just been cursed with bad coaching. Now
Well, definitely this
I
time.
don't know if Pittsburgh was
No, Pittsburgh wasn't.
bad
I'm not gonna
coaching.
say Pittsburgh was bad. Pittsburgh was not. And if you look at it, you look at his three stops.
Chicago.
Statistically, he ran up these numbers in Chicago, like fantasy numbers, right? Like because of his running and even was passing,
Well,
right?
primarily because of his running.
Right, but he was passing the ball to, like, he had some weapons at wide receiver there, but there's no question his best stop so far was Pittsburgh when he was 4-2,
Where he had that 4-2.
and Tomlin was conservative with him. I'll give you that. You know,
Yeah. But some people feel it was unfair that he went back to Russell.
but I
Most
think
people understood because it was Russell Wilson.
right, and I'm sure he signed Russell first. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I remember, and he probably promised Russell the job, and Russell did have that deep ball going for him. So
I guess
the moon ball.
the moon ball. Yeah, where did they get him in with the Giants? Russell's on the moon. You know. So all right, well listen, we won't belabor this much longer. We just said we need to do this podcast because we got into such a debate about Justin Fields, and you
Well,
always
so you think his career is over, Bill? That's what you're saying.
uh,
You think he's not? Will you say definitively? Because
I
I'm
think
hearing
he
this.
will.
I hear this other places. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah,
Will you say definitively he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL?
I think that if it does not work out here in New York, I think his next job will not be as a starter. I think teams, and I could be wrong because again, I think people fall in love with him like you did because he's very athletic. He's 6'3". He looks great. He's athletic, and everybody's probably figuring if we could just infuse him with instincts. If we could just give him some quarterback instincts, you know, to react quickly and not hold and not take off. If we could just do that, and I think there will probably be a team who will look at that and say, we'll give him another shot. But I think it will be very difficult for a team to give him a shot as a starter. But and I know I'm waffling on this, but I think that because he will only be, what we say he was, 27
He turns 27 in March.
in March. So going into the next season, he'll be 27 going into the 2026-2027 season. And, uh, and I guess I'm saying that let's see how this year turns out. We're still only 7 games in.
It's not looking good, Bill. It's not
Not yet.
looking.
Definitely not.
I'm saying, hey, it's not. It's not. I mean, I think for me, they got to get rid of this. I mean, I don't know what that does, right? But I mean,
Now, now? Let's get to your concern, which is Aaron Glenn.
mhm.
Would you would you fire him at the end of the season, brother?
I think, yeah. If the
I,
if
I,
I
I,
if if I'm here, week 16 or week 17, and they are 0-16 or one, even one in something, or they won, even if they won 2 games, if they're like 2-14, but I don't, and they look this, and they play the same way offensively or defense that they've been playing, and because I really haven't seen improvement. Okay, I've seen a little improvement from the defense, like a little bit. Um, but if the same overall performance and there's like penalties and I think I might fire him and hire another black man.
who?
I don't know. You
Oh,
said if it were my team, that's
maybe
what I
we'll
would
hire the defensive coordinator, Steve Wilkes.
do. He's had his chance too.
Oh, he only gets one chance.
Black,
Well, actually, yeah,
it's in the law. It's a law. Black coaches get one chance, Bill.
one chance. And Steve Wilkes was fired on the spot as defensive coordinator. So
Even though the defense has improved the last couple of weeks, so maybe Wilkes is doing something.
he'll be the interim
Oh, yeah.
if
Well, he
you
would
know.
be, I'm sure, because he has head coaching experience.
But he's yet another defensive guy. Their problem is offense. The offense looks like primitive,
Yeah.
you know. So all right, well we'll see. I thought you were going to say that if they're 2-15, if they finish 2-15, you fire.
I don't even think it's a record thing. I think it's like it has to be like they have to start playing well played football. And if you lose a tight game, that's fine. But you can't just play like they're playing disgusting football right now, and just like it's embarrassing, like on and less so on the defense the last couple of games, but but the first 5 weeks the defense was just as bad. So, oh yeah, if we can see improvement on the offensive end, no matter who the quarterback is, then that will change things.
Right. Well, I think that if they break even, if they finish what 8-8, what 8-9 or something like that,
Oh yeah, at this point that'd be tremendous.
I
I'll
think
say
they
let's say they have 10 more games. If they win 5 of those last 10, and they finish 5-12, I'll take that
right.
because that would mean there was improvement.
Excuse me. Oh, I thought I muted.
That
Sorry.
that would be major improvement, right? You didn't win a game in the first 7 weeks, and then the last
No,
10 weeks you split.
I think it's yeah. I think that's what we're saying. We're hedging our bets. We're gonna see how it ends.
Right.
You know. But as of today, uh, uh, October 19th, 2025. But the other question before we leave: should Justin Fields be benched?
Next week,
Yes. I guess who do they play next week
Cincinnati,
with Joe Flacco?
but a terrible defensive team, Cincinnati. Um, no, I mean, me. No, I don't think so. I don't think Tyrod Taylor's better than Justin Fields. Um, so I wouldn't bench him.
But today, Aaron Glenn said When they asked why they put him in, well, we needed a spark.
Yeah,
It's the only thing I told you. They needed a
but,
spark.
and maybe I think it's a spark. It's almost like throwing somebody on the bus. Like if you don't like, I gotta. It gives you time, right? Oh, it's the quarterback's fault. It's not our fault. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, he's not going to bench the offensive tackle. You know,
but I'm saying. So to me, it's kind of like a cop out. Especially you like I said, you put Tyrod Taylor in. It's not he didn't, it's not he didn't look great.
he
Like
made some good throws. He made how many good throws did
Bill,
Justin
he
Fields
had a
make?
25.5 quarterback rating in his time today.
Because he didn't have the luxury of being a starter and easing into the game. He's trying to bail the Jets out of the mess that
What do you mean, Bill? They were
Fields
only
created.
down 7. Bill, you act like you had to come back from 30. They were down 10 at the most.
And a defensive struggle, and he had to take chances.
So,
You know,
so you're apologizing for Tyrod Taylor. Okay, okay. You're a Tyrod Taylor apologist, and I'm
a
a
Justin,
Justin
a
Fields.
Justin Fields apology.
Well,
Uh,
let's look around the league because who had a really good game, who bounced back today was Jalen Hurts
yeah,
today.
who had been
He
taking grief.
listen to his stats today. They were very very impressive. Um, Jalen Hurts, 19 for 23, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Hmm,
So
impressive.
that's a nice
Well,
little bounce
we have
back.
we have some problems in Las Vegas though.
We sure do.
With
We sure do.
have some big problems in Las Vegas. We start off the year talking about, you know, 16 of the 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL are black. Hip hip hooray! So now we're down to, uh, well, Lamar got hurt, although I think he was replaced by a black quarterback after
They tried Cooper Rush,
they tried Rush and then they replaced him by Huntley.
right? And neither one of them
And then
are
Wilson,
healthy.
was benched, of course, for the suddenly heroic Jackson Dart.
Hey, hey, you got to give it up. I mean, Dart's playing well. He's playing better than I thought he'd play.
Yeah, well, he's not playing better than he thought he'd play.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's a
but
good
we
point.
still have 7 more games.
So Geno Smith today had a Justin Fields Jets like performance. 10 for 16,
Oh,
67 yards,
hmm.
uh, 0 touchdowns, 0 receptions,
Well,
five
at least he
sacks.
didn't. At least he didn't turn the ball over.
Okay, but you don't say that about Justin Fields. Do you know Justin Fields has no interceptions this year?
Is that right?
That might be
How
his problem, though. That might
how
be his
many?
problem. He
How
might be
many?
he's scared to throw it in harm's way.
I think. See, I think you inadvertently put your finger on the problem. He's scared, and maybe he's scared because he knows that they don't have faith in him. Although, although, as you said, Glenn gave him his seal of approval in the middle of the week.
Right. Yeah. No, I have thought about that. I mean, yeah, he's holding on to the ball. Let's be, there are a few things. Probably no one's open. He doesn't have receivers. He's seeing no one's open, so he's not willing to throw it a 50-50 ball. Tyrod Taylor, on the other hand, that's kind of his game. Like he's always been. He doesn't care.
And he made some tight throws. In other words, I mean, he threw it even though and Aaron Glenn got on him. In his post game, I mean, not like he ignored it. He
Right.
said we can't have those kind of interceptions. But Taylor, and maybe because he's an 8, how long has he been in the league? 8 years, 9, 8 years, something like that. I mean,
Something
he's
like
been in
that.
the league for a long time.
Right.
You know, and so maybe he's got the confidence that he said, "Hey, man, screw this." And I'm a backup anyway. So what the hell? What's the worst that could happen? Put me back on the bench?
Yeah. No, it's a different mentality for
Well,
sure.
I think Fields is still has a starter mentality, and I think he wants to keep starting. He's never not started. That's the reason why he transferred from Georgia and used the bogus racial incident to get him out of Georgia, to go to Ohio State because he wanted to be a starter, which he was. In Chicago, he was a starter. In Pittsburgh, he was a starter
For a little bit.
because Fields got hurt, and here he came in and he was immediately the starter. So I think starting that long, and he was crushed. You could tell today of being benched. I mean, how humiliating is that to be benched?
And
Where,
then the crowd cheered when Tyrod ran on the field.
yeah, and that was short lived, you know. But you're right. I mean, the crowd cheered, and how crushing is that to Fields? And you heard in his post game conference, he really talked about Jesus and God and all that, which not making light of that, but whenever I hear that,
Right,
and the
right.
reporters were listening to that,
I mean, you're digging deep. You need some serious,
it's so
inspiration.
funny, like heathen reporters, because the guy, and then after he finished with that, yeah, well, Justin, how you feel about the pressure?
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. But I'm having trouble reading what's going on defense.
I mean, Justin he took us to church. He gave us this whole thing about God and faith. Oh yeah, Justin. what about? Can you read defense? Can, can the Holy Ghost help you read defense? Can the Holy Ghost help you read
It's rough out
Oh,
here.
man,
It's rough.
that's stuff I'm sorry.
Rough.
Oh, man, excuse me. And again, I'm not. I'm trying to. I mean, my church, my office is in a church. I mean,
Right.
I, I guess it's more of a commentary on our business. We just don't give a damn. We don't care about Justin. We don't care about that.
And I've always wondered about that with Justin Fields, like with being with the Jets,
Right.
because you know, it's always seemed like there might be a slight confidence issue there, and then you're coming. I know he's been in Chicago, which is a big market, but there's nothing like New York, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's got to be, it's got to be one of the hardest things he's dealt with as a quarterback, and I'm sure he was saying, all the religious stuff. I get. I'm sure he feels that deep down, and he feels it, but I'm sure he used it to deflect also, like okay,
Right.
like you guys can't attack me on this. I'm
Right.
coming with this, and
They
you're
disagree.
right. People are like, yeah. But how about why did you hold on to the ball so long on that second down?
Yeah. With all due respect, I mean, it was funny. He went on like it was like 5 or 7 minutes. He just went on and talked about the whole thing,
Yeah.
And the guy said, "Yeah, Justin, but I hear you, but the pressure." And the guy, the New York press is tough, man. They just don't care. But I asked, excuse me, I asked similar. I asked Bryce Young. I was in Jackson. I was in Charlotte a few days ago. I covered Travis Hunter, the Jacksonville game on a Sunday, and I knew I was going to write this piece, so I drove up to Charlotte and attended a Carolina Panthers thing and spoke to Justin. I mean, what's his name?
Bryce. Mhm.
And he was a very religious guy, and he mentioned a couple times mentioned faith. And I asked about faith, and he gave an equally, in-depth answer about his faith. It said, and in fact, I'll probably use it in the column I'm writing now, since uh, Justin took us to church. But uh, Young did the same thing. Said, "Listen, I believe I put all my faith in God, and all that kind of stuff." And I asked him that, and I was gracious. I didn't follow it up with, "Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah." Meanwhile, meanwhile, you and I guess I got to, you have, I think it's on YouTube or whatever, but I knew when he said that, and he was like really pouring his heart out. And I know the guy's on deadline, the reporter's on deadline, and you can tell that, yeah, but I mean, he didn't even acknowledge that, went right to the pressure, you know, and
Yeah.
all that. But you're right. I think you're absolutely right. And we probably remember Troy Vincent's wife um, said that Chef Tommy
Hmm.
said that we don't give these guys, we really they're like cartoon figures,
No
and
question.
the idea that he's probably hurting and embarrassed and humiliating because he's essentially been taken off the beat
Right.
and benched. And these people are asking him, well, why? And what do you think? And he probably feels like you said, I don't call it deflection, but he's said this is why I lean on my faith and all that. Now, he also could look in his bank book and that those checks are pretty big.
Right.
He's got some pretty big checks.
Right. And he'll tell you. He'll tell you he's blessed. So.
I'm blessed. I'm
Mhm.
blessed. That's what he's going to say. Well, on the other hand, I I am I
Yeah.
come to think of it,
He
I'm
had,
pretty blessed.
and he said that in the past few weeks, saying, I'm blessed. We get to play a kid's game, all that kind of stuff, get paid, which is true.
Yeah,
But
which is very true. Get paid handsomely
and
for
that,
it.
and that's why, and it also, I guess, part of that part, part of what comes with that is the criticism and the media pressure and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. So, all right. Well, good. Well, listen. Hope nobody was offended by it, but it was just so funny. It was just such a funny moment by how the media we just don't care.
no, we don't care. We
You
don't
know,
care.
and that's kind of our thing. I mean, I was getting on you a long time. You haven't quite shed. I said, Jamal, you still a fan? You're a fan of the Knicks?
I've
You a fan of the Mets?
The Mets. I'm a fan of. Yes, I'm a fan of them. That's my only team. Even though they were terrible this year.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Dodgers. I mean, but I
Mhm.
like, I like the manager. I like Dave Roberts.
Yes.
You know,
Speaking of that, did you see the
I showed that Otani.
Shohei Ohtani thing?
Oh my God, this dude, man.
I
Can
mean,
can we adopt him as a brother, as an honorary brother, like we adopt?
yes, yes, yes. We will. We will. We're gonna try very hard. There's got to be something in his lineage.
Yeah, this dude, man, and to do it in the playoffs. I didn't remember the home run he hit. He hit
Yeah.
the home run out of the ballpark.
I was thinking about, he basically had a Reggie Jackson game
Right.
and a Roger Clemens game or something. You know what I mean? It's just
Oh,
ridiculous.
that's right. That's right. That's the man if Reggie Jackson at that game. Then came back and struck out the side. It's like little league. who who does that?
Right.
No man, that might bring baseball back. But now we've all forgotten the gambling scandal. You know
That's
how he,
true.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. That's a long
totally,
gone.
totally,
You
totally.
you just reminded me of that. I had forgotten it completely.
Yeah, like he threw his businessman under the bus. Well, I still don't know if he threw him under the
Yeah, we
bus,
don't know what happened.
but he.
I mean, he's too good a player to be mixed up in that bill.
Why would he do that? Oh man, we better quit while we're ahead.
That's true.
Yeah,
But yeah, salute to Otani.
yeah.
Salute to Otani.
I'm glad you shouted him out. That was a tremendous. That might bring baseball back.
Yeah, no, I was getting alerts. I was watching other stuff. I was watching, like, college football, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second, what's this guy doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of college football, our guy, have we been on the air since James Franklin got fired?
Yes, we
We
touched that a little bit.
okay.
Did you see he was on College Game Day?
I saw
I
that.
saw that, and saying
That
that
was
he'd
a
love to, he wants to coach as soon as possible.
okay. I see. You know,
Mhm.
he thought game day with a resume. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm got mortgage due. You know,
Yeah. Well, I mean, he got a $49 million buyout. Why doesn't he just take a year
I
off,
said,
man?
why do you want to coach?
Yeah. Why do you want to coach? I
You know,
mean,
but I guess we don't understand that. Like,
right,
why? You know,
right.
why don't you just take it easy?
No,
And I
no,
guess it's that.
we can't.
How could you? How the last 11 years you wake up, your whole routine is coaching, going to the office, going to your staff, working these long hours, and now you're just going to stay home and cook. You know?
Right. Think about it. You're the Penn State coach, so you're like royalty.
Yeah,
Your ego is as much a part of it as anything. Your identity is a great coach. You,
yeah,
you got to go back out there and prove it, because now people are stepping on your name.
yeah. I mean, just this time last year. I mean, they were headed toward the college football playoffs.
They were in
Yeah,
it.
they were right. They were playing. Yeah, they're playing.
Did they play in the final? Was that them in the final against
No,
Notre
no,
Dame?
they played Notre Dame
In the
in
semifinal,
the semifinals,
right? Because that was a big deal about two black coaches
and he
squaring
owned
off, right?
the Notre Dame coach was kind of well, I don't know, my mind, that was, but James Franklin was like, yeah, no, I mean, he talks about his black side of his family and the black coaches who helped him. I mean, it was very clear where the young brother from, I hope I call it, the young brother from, who's a nice guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's a nice guy, but
Freeman, Marcus Freeman.
Marcus Freeman. But when it gets to that, and I guess, we can't, I was having this discussion with my son in law yesterday about Walter White of the NAACP. I mean, Walter White was like white. I mean, he looked like he could be white, but he chose to be black. And there was somebody else in currently in the NAACP, who just by appearances you could say was white. You know, but it's up to you how you're going to own it or not. And nobody could tell you just because I'm like really light skinned that I'm black. Nobody could tell me that I'm not.
Right.
And nobody could tell if you have mixed parenting, your mother is this or your dad is that, kind of go either way. So I don't want to be hard. But Franklin, who I think is biracial, but he was very clear about the black coaches who helped him. And that was kind of his identity. So
Yep.
God bless him. Hope he gets another job somewhere.
Yeah, and I think he will get another chance, but just because of how successful he was, like
Yeah.
you can't lose sight of that. Like he made a winner out of Vanderbilt when he was there, and
Yeah.
then he completely turned around Penn State to make them
Yeah.
to put them in this position now. So
Yeah, it's very solid, and we'll see who they get to follow this guy.
right, yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
they may say, James, another, maybe can you kind of reconsider that?
Or can you be a consultant?
We were just joking. I forgot. It was either a book or something where they fired some guy. I think it was a movie or something. They fired this guy, and they really made a mistake, and they want to rehire. Oh, I was just joking. Did you take me seriously?
Right.
uh, it was some NFL coach when they fired some NFL coach. I forget who it was, and they were saying, "How could you fire this guy?" And then when they come back this day, we were just joking. We didn't really mean that. Anyway, all right, man, let's go. We're still at the
We're-
stadium. I think the traffic has died down now.
Yes. Thanks for listening once again. If you're watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, follow us on social media at Bros Pod, on Twitter, Instagram, Bill Road No Sports on Facebook, and wherever else you see us. Just keep supporting. We appreciate it.
Yep, and pray. Keep praying for everything, but particularly pray for me to uh, unravel this column I was going to write,
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck with this one. I don't know.
which I thought it was going to be, just so you guys know, not you give a damn about the journalistic process. At the end of the day, we pull for our angles. We pull for the angle of our stories or columns. And I was clearly walking into this day. I'd already interviewed um, um, uh, damn, why am I keep blanking on his brother's name?
Bryce Young.
Right. I'd already interviewed Bryce Young. Great kid, got the quotes, got everything. He knows the history of black quarterback, blah, blah, blah. Perfect. Had the perfect lead. I even kind of writing the lead, kind of leaving it blank. Somebody was going to take a step forward, somebody wasn't. And
Well,
then,
it still kind of happened. It's just
well,
the injury.
yeah, I mean, trust me, I'm working with it. I mean, but it was better when Justin Fields got benched and um, damn, why am I keep blanking on this guy's name?
Young.
While Bryce Young was playing, apparently leading them to victory, and then he got hurt, and I saw another guy come in. I said, "Oh man, golly, really?"
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton. In fact, I talked to Andy Dalton when I was in Carolina about Bryce Young.
Really? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was very complimentary and talked about his height. He said, "Well, his height is his superpower because he always says that he's been 5'11" all his life, and he knows that. He knows, and he was very complimentary. Uh, but what I might end up using, I also talk about how do you stay in this league for like 13 years,
Right.
because that's something
Right.
that Justin Fields and Bryce Young.
And speaking of Tyrod, it's actually his 14th year.
Yeah, so see, Tyrod has been around the block,
Mm-hmm.
so he's been there 14 years.
Right.
So, and I think that I'm glad you reminded me of that. You're kind of helping me write this column during that thing, but it could transition to when you play around that long. And I don't know how long Andy Dalton's been in the league. Andy Dalton's probably been in the league probably
Yeah, about the same, I would think.
like 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
And I guess your whole mindset is different. You're not, at some point, you've already made it. You ain't out there trying to prove that you could start.
Right. And Tyrod did speak to the press afterwards also.
Oh, he did?
And someone asked him if, do you want another shot? Do you want a shot at starting next week? Would you like to get back in there? And he said, well, I'm a competitor, so of course I always want to start, period. But whatever the coach wants to do, I have faith in him, blah blah blah. He's like, and I also, if I don't start, I'm going to support Justin. Like that's just what I'm going to do. So he gave a good answer as far as that goes. But like he said, he's a competitor. He wants to play also. So, and he said he did his best today. That was what he said.
Did he say that at his locker or at the podium?
Well, in the locker room, but basically at the podium.
Damn, Jamal, you didn't give me that one.
Well, I have it. I can give it to you. I'll send it to you. Yeah, I got it.
Damn, Jamal, you buried the lead, man.
I had no clue what your angle was going to be, Bill.
Welcome to Journalism 101. Here we are.
Right.
We just talking this stuff through because that was a great quote.
Yeah. I'll send it to you right now.
He's into longevity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I got that on. I filmed that. I filmed his entire interview.
Oh. Okay, man. Let's end this so I can get that from you.
We'll do. All right.
Bye everybody.